Alright, hello, welcome to the Fanatics podcast. My name is Ben, and today I'm joined by Jeff,
So,
and we're going to be talking about the Destiny beta, which has taken the internet and the world, and a lot of other people and things by storm. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. I would be extremely interested in Destiny if it was on PC. But it is one of those games where when they announced like the white PS4 bundle thing, where I was thinking like maybe. So I think it's going to be a very big game, obviously, since no one can shut up about the beta. But unlike a lot of other games, I kind of am very interested in seeing like what Bungie can do beyond Halo, and in a
yeah,
massively multiplayer environment.
yeah, especially with that MMO thing, it seems like Destiny would be perfect for PCs, but I guess they're just not going that route. Bungie's always been a console
Yeah,
developer. They were owned by Microsoft for their first 5 games anyway.
yeah. It's just
Um,
it's just a weird
or
mission.
for their past 5 games, I should say. They've done they did Oni. I remember that was console.
What's that
They
game like?
did
Monolith or something?
Marathon.
Marathon.
Yes,
That was close.
those were PC and Mac. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
Destiny. Yeah, just it's just a big game, you know. Bungie's it's their first game since Halo Reach,
Wow.
and it's different. It feels different, you know. It's different than the Call of Duties or the Borderlands or other things on the market out there. That Destiny is just really fun, really fast. It has that Bungie balance going on.
Hey, does the shooting feel like Halo?
Uh, a little bit like the enemy AI has some similarities.
Okay.
Bungie has some of the best shooter AI on out there. You're still throwing grenades. That still has its one dedicated button.
Hmm.
The maps are still really good for mobility, and you still got a really great melee attack.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what's because I've watched a couple of minutes of footage just before we start recording, and what I'm curious as to like what the structure is of the game since Halo was such a like a I don't want to say narrative focus, but it was
it
very
was definitely
linear.
more linear. Right,
Yeah,
right, just
yeah.
level to level.
Is this like a hub section, like an MMO? Would there be a town and then you go out and explore? Like how is this set up?
It is sort of like I would compare it to Mass Effect, where you would have
Hmm.
like the Citadel as your hub area, and you could go out and do the next quests and things. Like there are side activities you can do. There are people you can meet in. I think it's the Tower is
Okay.
the hub area that you go to between missions. And when you're ready, you just pull out your ghost. It's the little robot voiced by Peter Dinklage.
Ooh.
Which, by the way, I love Rooster Teeth's nickname for it, 343 Dinklespark.
Wow.
Yeah. And just from any point in the tower, you can go to your ship. You don't have to go all the way back to the Normandy like you did in Mass Effect, which is a huge time saver because no one likes backtracking. And it pulls you to this world map, and you just kind of move your cursor over. Do you want to go to the Earth to do a mission? Old Rush is the only available space in the beta right now. And you can also cursor over to the multiplayer modes, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can do the missions out of order. I followed through, just to keep the balance in play because I didn't want to go into a mission that I wasn't, low level.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't want to get stomped by high level enemies.
I see.
But it did seem that I could at least see the missions that were going to be happening next. But it does drop you into like a smaller sandbox area. You can approach it from whichever direction you can find. You do reuse maps for some missions, which
Hmm.
isn't terrible because you'll come back with new abilities, kind of Metroid style. Uh, like you'll have your Sparrow, which is like the ghost. You can call that to you at any time from the Nickelbot.
Silly names.
Yeah. There's a double jump ability you unlock, which is
Okay.
really handy and
Well,
really fun.
are there going to be like a lot of different abilities?
There seems to be there's a super attack you have, which works I guess a little like Borderlands abilities. You could is the best
Hmm.
comparison, but it takes a lot longer to recharge than that did. and it's just absolutely devastating for most enemy types. In the multiplayer modes, I was one-shotting enemy vehicles with it. In the main game, I was taking out groups of enemies with it. It's really satisfying, and it is specific to each character. I was playing as the Warlock, and my special move was I jumped in the air and threw this gigantic ball of purple energy, and it just decimated whatever it was, pointed against.
Okay. Well, I'm curious since you bring up classes right now,
Hmm.
what's the difference between the different classes? Is it just that skill?
Uh, there's some things like health. There's
Okay.
I
Yeah.
believe one of them is called a tank. I'll have to review Titan. Sorry, Titan.
Oh.
And they have more health. You can take more hits. I don't know what their specific ability is, but one of them is like a sort of Hulk smash move where you smash into the ground and it sends a shockwave that kills some enemies.
Hmm.
And then the other one, this is probably for the hunter. You can like raise your hand in the air and then you get this overpowered one-shot pistol, which is really satisfying.
Hmm. So it does sound very, very Borderlandsy, where you just kind of have one super skill.
Hmm. Yeah, but it has the Halo health meter where you don't have to worry about your finite health along with the shields. It's just sort of Halo 3, Halo 4 style. You have the one regenerating bar at the top of the screen,
Hmm.
which I think gives it allowed me to take more risks, I think, than I would be comfortable doing in Borderlands because you know of that finite health.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back a little bit because I had a question
Okay.
about the quest structure. Because you're saying you just follow the quests in order. Are there like there's obviously side quests?
Yeah. There are side objectives you can do. I haven't had a ton of time with the beta. I just spent about 2 or 3 hours with it, mainly doing the story stuff. But yeah, there were side activities I could do, like there were collectibles I could get in return for a reward, like a rocket launcher from a specific guy.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
Yeah,
Are now okay.
yeah. I'm not sure how expansive the side missions go, but in the full
Yeah.
game, I'm sure Bungie's gonna go. This is a big game, very expensive production.
Yeah, clearly. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that was like a rumor they debunked, but the half a billion, or was it half a billion or something?
Probably have that sounds close
That was
to.
I think that turned out to be fake, but
Okay.
still, I'm sure they spent a lot of money. Okay, so when you're playing the levels, what I mean, I was watching one of the videos and there was treasure. Is there a
Yeah.
lot of loot like Borderlands, or is it less?
No, you definitely don't find as much. You can't
Okay.
pick up guns from every enemy. Not every enemy drops money.
Do the guns have like this is a gun that does 53 damage and plus
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
damage?
they do have stats, yeah.
Okay.
And like Borderlands, you have to be a certain level before you can use certain guns.
Okay.
Like oh, this is a level 8 machine gun, where this is a level 4 shotgun,
I,
for
I,
instance.
I love how arbitrary and like that sounds
Oh
really
yeah,
stupid. Like anyone can use this gun. It's a gun, it has a trigger. But I love it. I love
yeah.
how just so dumb. Nope, can't use this shotgun. Nope. Nope, not gonna let you. Are there is there armor and stuff too?
Yes, you can
With
change your
stats?
gear. Yeah, their stats.
I'm liking this game.
Hmm. It's a lot of fun, and at least for me, all the armor so far, just by picking stuff with the best stats, actually doesn't look horrible when you put it all together.
Good.
It looks like one cohesive outfit instead of just pink pants and brown tops.
That is a pretty snazzy, fashionable outfit you got there. Uh,
Yeah.
well, let's
But,
let's go to the multiplayer then, since we brought it up a
yeah.
couple times.
Okay. Yeah, there are play versus player modes. I think I did play just one or two games of this, and it was a zone control mode. You're A, B, and C, and you stand near the flag until your team controls it. And like Halo, you have your vehicles you can drive around, but with the Destiny twist of you can bring your armor and your weapons in from the single player, or I guess from the story, since there isn't technically a single player mode in Destiny.
Yeah. Okay, so
Uh,
wait, you could bring those weapons in.
mhm.
Do they have the same stats? Like, could you be theoretically better than other players because of these weapons, or is it just aesthetic stuff?
I Yeah, Bungie's really good at matchmaking code. I think they group people with similar levels and gear to you,
Okay, yeah.
so it is more balanced, right? So you're not just going to go in there with the person with a 300 damage,
Yeah,
machine gun with a
it's not
1,000
nice.
round magazine.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
All right, they get a pass. Uh,
yeah.
so you said there's the capture the not capture the flag the
Zone
zone like
control.
King
Yeah,
of the Hill or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That's the only mode I've seen so far, but it
Mm.
was fun. You can pull out your sparrow at any time, which means the maps can be a lot bigger than they were
Mm.
before. Where in Bungie's Halo games there wasn't a sprint function except for Halo Reach, and you had to have that equipped.
Oh yeah, it was one of those skills or
Yeah, the
whatever.
armor abilities. Uh, but yeah, because you can get around so fast, the maps are a little bigger and a little more intricate, and it looks like Bungie had a lot of fun with this. Like the one I played was this sort of snowy research looking facility where there was like a lot of domes. It looked kind of like a lab. It was just really interesting to go around, even if it was mostly just like snowed, um, well, just snow.
Even if it was just a lot of snow. Hey,
Yeah, a lot of
snow in the middle
snow,
of summer is good. Tell you that.
snow domes and explosions, because they do have competitive vehicles that with attacks on them. The Sparrow doesn't have any offensive capabilities, but they do have some weapon mounted vehicles that go, you know what I mean? Vehicles with weapons out there to take. One of them reminded me of the Brute Chopper from Halo 3, and that is like this really beefy thing with some super powerful cannons.
Okay.
The super moves kind of balance out the vehicles along with the mobility of your double jump that you unlock early on, and with your Sparrow. And if they keep the progression the same in the retail game, you actually do have to play a certain amount of missions to unlock those abilities before you can get into the multiplayer side or the player versus player side of things.
Oh, so is it kind of like sectioned? Well, does that mean you'd be unlocking new multiplayer stuff as you level up further and
Uh,
further?
yeah, that's interesting. It wouldn't be the first time. I know the Call of Duty games have you have to unlock the multiplayer modes, which is a little frustrating if you just want to jump straight into your
Wait,
favorite
really?
mode. Yeah, yeah. At least in Modern Warfare 2, I'm not a huge Call of Duty guy.
Okay. All right, I'm back to watching footage here.
Yeah.
What? And I'm noticing because the first thing that struck me was there seems to be a lot less enemies going on than in Halo. It's a little more. I don't want to say slower pace because there's still like giant lasers and dudes flying everywhere.
Yeah.
But it does seem a little more maybe methodical, a little more like Bioshock,
Sure.
maybe
Hmm.
where because I just watched this section where the player is like turns a corner and there's this guy standing in water and he's just standing there and it's something that wouldn't really be happening in Halo. There would be like 10 guys there all throwing shit at you. You know,
Depends on what skulls you have activated, I guess.
maybe I need to turn some of that up. But so how does it feel like in terms of that? Like is it really you're constantly fighting or are there like lulls where you're exploring? Like is it a good mix? Like what's more common? Is it like a 60-40 split of exploration and combat or like how is it? Would you
Yeah,
say?
it feels like there's a really good pacing as far as you getting your moments to yourself to just sort of take in the environment, what's going on, and fighting with enemies. There is, as with Halo, another class of enemies. You have the Fallen, and then you have I can't quite remember the names off the top of my head, but
Robots.
robot. Yeah, no,
Nope.
they're the Fallen, but
Well, fine.
uh, yeah, but it's like this. I guess they work sort of like zombies, where it's like these melee type characters where they just kind of rush you in packs.
They're the flood. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they feel different where you're not just like, oh, this is the flood. Okay, and
Yeah,
those guys
well,
were the Covenant. Like it does feel like a different game. So the whole time I wasn't thinking, oh, it's just they wanted to make Halo for PlayStation, so they threw some Borderlands in just to throw the sin off. But
yeah,
no,
just to
like
confuse them.
yeah, they won't call it Halo now.
They'll never figure it out. Don't tell them.
Yeah, I was really satisfied by the challenge. There were some bosses and mini bosses where you needed to utilize that mobility and get around and use cover and flank them. Uh, there was one guy that had a huge health bar, but I never felt like the game was cheap in its difficulty.
Hmm.
There was one area I went into before I was supposed to, and I found some enemies that were immune to the guns I had at the time.
It's always good.
Yeah, so I just kind of walked in there, and then they one-shotted me, and then I turned
It's
as
like,
soon as I respawned, I got out of
nope.
there. Yeah.
I'm just watching a little more, see what's going on. What you mentioned the bosses though, are they from what you've played or seen, are they all just like humanoid sized things, or are there giant like a giant tank boss or whatever giant creature? Because I think there was one the E3s they showed that giant like arachnid beetle thing, whatever
Yeah,
it was.
they can get pretty sizable. I haven't seen this personally. I did see this through some footage. It was like a four-legged tank thing.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's not scarab massive for Halo 3 guys, but uh, it was pretty imposing and well bigger than a normal enemy. And that's where teamwork comes into play. It I didn't have any problems playing the game by myself. I was just I had public turned on. You can customize it where if you want friends only, you just want to play by yourself, or you can have just the public populating your game.
Mm-hmm.
I had public turned on, but everyone was pretty much engaged in their own fire teams or just not very cooperative. I was playing on PS3, by the way. So, yeah.
No one's friendly. So does that mean and they're just wandering around because it's a big open, well, I
Yeah.
mean not an open world in the
Hmm.
Fallout sense or whatever, but it's a big area, so they're off doing their own little things.
Yeah, it's more like Borderlands where it's each area is self-contained and you have to load the next area. There's not a big overworld like in Fallout.
Okay, I see what you're saying. This game looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm watching this video and I'm just like,
Hmm.
I want to play this
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
because it looks like Borderlands if Borderlands was better. And
Yeah,
not to
it's
discount Borderlands, but
yeah, like it's Borderlands, but with Bungie's tightened, really refined
oh
sense of
yeah,
how to do a shooter.
they're good.
Uh, One thing they're really great at, by the way, is grenades, and you have
Yes.
infinite grenades in this game.
What?
It's on a recharge timer, but you have infinite grenades.
I'm sold. The best part of Halo to me is those sticky grenades, plasma grenades,
Yeah,
whatever.
I haven't seen any sticky grenades yet. The
Mm,
grenades are really useful so far. I haven't really missed the sticky grenades because I'm having so much fun with my guns and my super abilities and my double jump.
I don't jump. Okay,
There's
yeah, I was just reminded of something with Borderlands. There's all these different types of weapons, and they're
Mhm.
like have their own little. Especially with Borderlands 2, having the different manufacturers. Does
Right.
this have like? I want there to be a little more than just this is the sniper, this is the SMG, this is the pistol. Like, how different are like one pistol to another? Is there a big difference?
Yeah, it's sort of like a middle ground between how Halo did it and how Borderlands does it,
Okay.
where you have like your set types of weapons. You don't have the weapon manufacturers with the different quirks like you do in Borderlands.
Yeah.
But each gun does have its own stats where like you can find one pistol that's better than this other pistol as far as damage or mag capacity. Whereas in Halo, the Magnum is the Magnum every time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mhm. So there is a little more variety, way more incentive for you to loot around and try and get the best gun, possible. Whereas Halo, you could only carry those two weapons at a time. That's another thing I haven't mentioned yet is that you do have an inventory in Destiny.
Yes. Please talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I haven't counted the slots because I haven't filled them yet, so that number is not important to me.
Okay. That's a
But,
good answer actually, because a lot of these MMOs give you like 4 inventory slots to start with.
yeah,
It bothers me.
yeah. You have a slot for like your primary weapon, your special weapon, which is different for each class. For me, the special weapon was a shotgun, and then you have a heavy weapon, and you can equip all three of those without having to pause. Just tap triangle to switch between your primary weapon and your special weapon, and you can hold down triangle to equip your heavy weapon, which is like a rocket launcher.
Mm.
And if you want to switch out whatever goes in that slot, you just press pause, cursor over to because when you pause, it goes to your character screen immediately, so you can customize stats or switch weapons without having to go through a separate menu like in Borderlands.
Okay.
You just cursor over, you see all your guns at one time, you press whichever one you want in that slot, back out to the game. It's really fast and easy.
It's funny. The video I'm watching is he's in his inventory right now, so I'm watching him do his inventory. And then he just went to his skills and stuff. Like, how does leveling up work exactly? Are you choosing skills every level? What type of skills are there?
Yeah, it seems like it's not so much of a tree as like a set progression where you earn skills as you keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to have some more time with this to really understand the intricacies of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of each mission, they'll give you your progress towards the next skills you have coming up, and you'll have 5 different meters filling up, and it's really satisfying to watch those go up. And a few of them will pop up where it's like, hey, now you have when you melee enemies, your grenades recharge faster. You just unlock your special move, things like that, like little perks that just change the game up in some really interesting ways. And you actually want to work towards these because grenades are super satisfying and melee is really satisfying. So if you get to do both and you get to throw more grenades the more you melee, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm. It looked like each skill had, and I think you kind of mentioned that a little. They have their own little level up like meter around them.
Hmm.
Is that based upon like your usage of the previous skill, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't gotten to learn that yet.
Okay.
I'll have to dive back into the game and check that out. If you see anything in the video, let me know.
I don't know. He was just looking at skills, and it was like,
Yeah.
this will replace L2, this will replace X, and then they had different like circles around the ones that weren't unlocked yet.
Okay.
I don't know what it means. I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone's
So,
messaging
yeah,
me.
that was Breezy. He's not in this podcast.
Nice try, Breezy.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that the people need to know about their destiny?
You can't pause. Even if you set it to be a private match where there's no one else in your game, it doesn't pause.
Even in that pause screen that doesn't show anything that's going on around you.
Yep.
That's a very good thing to know when you're in the middle of a fight and you think you're gonna change weapons by pausing.
Yeah, that's really weird to me because I was kind of in between some things when I was first playing the beta, and I paused and Peter Dinklage was still talking to me, and I'm like, wait a second.
This isn't right. You're supposed to be quiet now. Hey.
It's really odd. Like, you expect a pause screen, just the game audio to quiet out. Like, especially in Halo, it just completely stops all the volume from the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And in Destiny, it's still going. You're just like,
well,
no, this isn't cool.
That's an MMO for you.
Yeah.
No pause, no pause. Okay, he just got a mission from like a beacon on the ground. Is that common? What's that about?
Yeah, that's something I hadn't really got into. I need to play more than just the 5 or 6 story missions available in the beta. I haven't had time to dig in as much as I want to. Yeah, it seems like just some side stuff, extra objectives to take care of.
Okay. I'm impressed by this level I'm watching because it just seems to keep going and there's no like end to it. You know what I mean? Like the levels are just so big and just detailed, and they loop back on themselves, and I don't know, but I'm really liking this Destiny thing. I really wish it was coming out for PC. I'd be all over this, especially in the middle of summer. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Nothing's coming out in the middle of summer except for Destiny.
And that's coming in September.
Yeah, that's barely in the summer.
Yeah.
Gah. All right. Is there anything else? I think we know Destiny's gonna be great. Right.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I do want to touch on the story. It is teased a little bit in the beta. You get an introduction to the world. We might have seen it from the E3 stuff, but the main thing is it begins with a present day Mars landing, and these scientists are walking around. One of them has an assault rifle inexplicably. Like they never bother to explain how there's like a modern day assault rifle on Mars. How that's operable. Yeah.
Okay, that is weird, but okay.
Eventually, they come across this giant, planets. Or maybe it's more moon-sized orb called the Traveler, and that's I think what the tower is, that hub area that you go to, and for so long, humans were able to use the power of the Traveler and prosper and spread across the galaxy, learn space travel,
Hmm.
develop all these wonderful uh, uh,
Whatever.
technologies
Yeah.
and advancements, right? And after so long, this thing called the darkness creeps in, and it starts to infect and take down some of the progress they've had, and like the darkness seems to be like this ever-present force that they don't really reveal what it is or really even touch upon it, other than it's a way for them to create areas where there's no like respawn near your team moment, so you have to start back at the beginning of this area.
Oh, because of the darkness.
Yeah, the darkness.
Hmm.
But it is really well produced. I'm intrigued already. Does Bungie has shown they know their sci-fi. Halo 1 is still one of my favorite sci-fi video game stories out there. At least in the way they do tone and how unexpected the twist was with the flood.
Was that a twist?
It was for me.
I don't remember like following the story at the time. Like I'd always play Halo at about halfway
Yeah.
and then not like I forgot what had happened by that point or why you were going to the flood area. I don't
Well, yeah, it was because the Covenant were doing. I think you're trying to rescue Captain Keyes, but that's a tangent we can get on this another time.
know. I'm not sure. Halo no remembero.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much I'll leave of that conversation in, but we're gonna have another Destiny discussion, and we'll see if we can learn some more. Since apparently, I ask all the most basic questions about Destiny, such as
And
are there guns and do they shoot lasers?
yes, there are guns and they shoot lasers. One
Hmm.
of them, my first
Perfect.
plasma rifle was a three shots, or like the battle rifle
Ooh.
from Halo. Yes.
Pretty cool. All right, so leave a comment below about Destiny and anything else. Maybe we'll answer some things. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe
Go for it. And you can
it's not
also,
on PC.
it's not on PC. I will answer that question because I know the answer. You can also email us at podcast@thegamefanatics.com. You can follow me on Twitter at TGF_KirbyLink. You can follow Jeff on Twitter.
TGF_JSmith.
And we'll see you next time for another Destiny episode. Destiny. Destiny's Child. Nope. Not Destiny's Child.
God.
Nope. Nope.
Bye.
Definitely not that.
Meow meow.
Meow, meow, meow.